Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you were kicking it with GFAMunited, a spot that's all about inspiring you to be salt and light. So without further ado, let's make it do what it do. Hit it.
Hey yo, my God will take a nobody that nobody knows. No matter the clothes, past sins don't matter no more. See, all that matters is the heart and the condition of sin. Hand your life over to Christ and leave the rest up to Him. We call that salvation, no need for decoration. Come as you are, embrace the Lord, then it's celebration. A new life, a new plan, and a new direction. How beautiful are the feet of those that bring His message.
Joe, welcome back to the pod. So today we got the homie Antoine Gibson in the building.
Why you had to use my full name?
What's up? I use everyone's full name, man.
Like they gonna find
yo.
something in the internet. Like who's Antoine Gibson? They ain't gonna find
Check him
nothing.
out. What's the YouTube name?
None.
The little drummer boy that can. Yeah, man. So what's up, dude?
Hey man, chilling, bro. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man.
You know.
I am truly stoked to have you on the podcast, dude, to just kind of kick it with you. Before we jump into the subject, I just want you to know how much I love and value.
Oh man,
like you
absolutely,
do. Like
it's mutual.
Proverbs 18:24. I know you're familiar with it. It says, "There are friends who destroy each other, but a real friend sticks closer than a brother."
You're not gonna cry this time?
No. Come on, man. I was being vulnerable that time, yo. Don't act like your eyes didn't get glassy.
Hey, bro, I felt it, bro.
So for those of y'all that's wondering, man, so we were part of the same church, and his last Sunday,
playing drums
with us at the church. I just had a few words that I shared with him with the band, and I think it was pollen season, so my eyes was definitely...
Stop lying on the podcast.
But yeah, like I think like there's certain friends that connect because they have a lot of things in common, or there's something that they can offer them. And then there's these friends or a friend that exists because of this love, this friendship, this brotherhood that they share. And I felt like I had that with you the very first moment I met you when we came to Center City, and then we went across the street, Noble Smoke. We had that expensive barbecue. It was good, man. It was good, and it just felt like we knew each other. Now it was funny because you were from South Carolina. We had just moved up from South Carolina, and we knew some of the same people. But like I never saw you.
Not once.
Yeah. And it just was so like natural, dog. We was already cutting up jokes. The family was chilling. We was breaking bread, and it just kind of fell into place, man. And that was 2019, dog.
Dang, it's been that long?
2019, because I moved up in 2020.
Yep.
Started FedEx in March of 2020.
That wasn't 19? You came...
So I came right when COVID blew open.
Okay.
And like I remember when I started, the first week I started, they started talking about closing down the borders to each state. That unless you were an employee that worked out of state.
Yeah.
I remember like I was tripping, dude. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because I would be working 6 days a week, Saturday, and then I would book it home for like a day and some change. And then make it and come right back.
I remember you was like, nah, bro, like I'm gonna cross the border. I gotta see my family, bro. Like I gotta go home. I was like, what?
And luckily I had a South Carolina license. So as long as I passed that Carowin, I was safe, dude. I was in South Carolina and I got a license for it. So it was 2019 when we first met, and I just felt like, man, it was a valuable friendship that I had, and I know even during the time when we were working, like my faith was being tested in so many different ways, challenged in so many different ways, and that wasn't a job where we could really spend a lot of time together because everyone's trying to get their truck set up and trying to hit the road. But we was always chopping it up beforehand, laughing, and then peeling out, the moment that our truck was loaded. But
those moments were good moments. Even though it wasn't a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like we checked in. Like I knew exactly what was going on. You knew what going on with me.
Yeah.
So it was just like, hey, few minutes.
Yeah.
Talk while we loading.
Yeah.
And then when it was time to go, all right, dude, I see you at the QT.
Yeah.
You know,
QT was where it was at. Cinnabons.
Yeah. You already know.
And and I remember just having conversations. I remember telling you about houses that I checked out, and you were constantly like, man, God's gonna do this. God's gonna do it. And there were certain times I'm like, amen. And then other times I'm like, dude, I ain't trying to hear that, man. Because I don't see it happening, dog. But he did it. He did it like I knew he was going to do it. But I think we're human and we go through the emotions when we live in faith. We have those challenging seasons where we're like, God, I know you're going to do it. I just have no idea when and how. And I think that's the challenging part. But, man, it's dope to have you here. So this season, I just felt compelled to make it all about faith. Faith has always been something that, I don't know, it's always been that word that's driven me. The Bible talks about faith, hope, and love. It brings this emphasis of the importance of each and saying how the greatest of these is love. And for me, faith has been such a core thing that I've tried to align my life with.
Yeah.
I found so much freedom in it. I found myself closest with the Lord when I know I'm living by faith.
Yeah.
I feel most distant from him, and my faith feels so dull when I know I'm just living safe.
Yeah.
I'm not even trying to do anything.
Yeah.
So I value the gift of faith that he's given us. And so I just wanted to be intentional about having conversations about faith, the importance of it, the impact that it has on our lives and others, the effects of faith, and so forth. So let me ask you this. Do you recall when you gave your life to God?
Early on, yeah, I did. I grew up in church, playing drums, so I wasn't necessarily in church all the time, but, my family made church important. And the fact of me playing drums, I wanted to be at church.
Yeah.
So I guess I didn't accept the Lord, until I graduated from high school to college.
Okay.
Because at that time, speaking of faith, it wasn't really a strong message of faith and what faith can do. So I wasn't necessarily, it was more religion of me being there, just to say that I went to church, So when I transitioned to college, my freshman year, that's when I was like, okay, so I don't have to go to church anymore.
Yeah.
Like I can sleep in, don't necessarily have to, listen to the word. I wasn't playing drums, so I was playing football at the time, so I didn't necessarily have a reason to like follow Christ.
Yeah.
So, with athletics, they always have the, FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So, I would hear it, it was good, but then it was just one moment where I was like, yo, like, I need to make a decision now, because all of my friends, what was taking place on campus, even though it was a Christian school, but still, I just felt like either I'm going to be for him or just put on a show. Yeah. So at that time, I kind of already made a decision like, yo, that's not for me. I'm not going to drink, not going to smoke. I'm not necessarily, doing anything outside of that. I need to go ahead and just be sold out for him. So that's when I gave my life to Christ, was my freshman year. I think that was like 2006.
Yeah.
So ever since then, it's just been a journey.
Yeah, man. I grew up in the Christian faith. Both my parents believers. I was going to church since I was in diapers.
Yeah.
I don't recall when I gave my life to the Lord. I recall the summer of '95 when I rededicated my life.
Okay.
I remember about to start a new high school.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing like bad things, but I know I wouldn't want to let that lifestyle reflect my faith.
Yeah.
So it was just a perfect opportunity for me to be like, God, I want to own my faith. I want to be serious about my faith. And I remember that was when I rededicated my life. I wish I remember, I've said this on countless episodes, I wish I could remember that day.
Yeah.
I'd love to just celebrate it. But nonetheless, whether I
But you remember the transition, though.
Yeah, I remember that key point in my life where I wanted to shift.
Yeah.
And I got him, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I liked about what you said was you just said how you kind of saw like faith, like it was kind of seen more like as a religion. So when people are like, so what's your faith? Oftentimes it's kind of seen like, so what do you believe? What's your religion?
Yeah.
And it goes no further than that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, you know, I'm this and that, and I'm with this denomination. And when that's as far as we take our faith, well, you never get what everyone's talking about.
No, you're not.
It never connects because you're just thinking a belief system.
Yeah.
And faith saturates everything when you really step into it and allow it to shape and mold and direct your life.
Yeah.
You see how it's so much more. And I think even hearing that is why I feel so compelled to talk more about it, because it becomes a way of living.
Yeah.
When you see how vital faith is to everything that you do.
Yeah.
So just briefly kind of share like your faith journey. And what I mean by that is, you know, you're married, kids, you know, you've taken enough steps of faith to know the impact of the faith. Like what is the effect of faith? What has the effect of faith been on your life, on your decisions?
Yeah.
Like that journey of your faith that you own, like what has it looked like? What has it felt like for you?
I mean, for me, faith is obedience.
Yeah.
It's a discipline. Like it's not like I don't get caught up in the benefits of faith or what, you know, if faith can get me this. Like, nah, for me, like I've always been the type of person where it's like, you know what, I don't have to have anything at all, but there's only a few things that I need in order to survive, and faith is one of them.
Yeah.
Like if I can have faith, or if I can have the God kind of faith, not this like, hey, you know, I'm believing God for a breakthrough, or you know, the whole cliches, you know what I'm saying? Like
God's plan.
Yeah.
God's plan.
Yeah, isn't like I'm not like not that. I'm talking about like real. Like I want to see it for myself.
Yeah.
Like so, faith, like that transition for me happened in college. Like college for me was like once I make this decision, God, like there's no going back. Like I'm locked in. Like I'm believing you for this lifestyle that I'm going to embrace. Like if your word is true, then I'm not going to take anything else. So we can be chopping it up. We can be talking. You can be saying something. I'm like, okay, but is that God or is that not? Like I'm going to challenge. I'm not saying that I'm not going to trust you, but I'm going to challenge it.
Yeah.
I'm going to back it up with his word. Now, if you making moves like, oh man, he's really living this out, then I'm going to lean more into a relationship with Jonathan because I'm seeing faith at work in his life. And for me, I never got that attention. Like my faith moves or the stuff that I was doing wasn't necessarily noticeable because I'm more of like a low-key introvert guy. So for me, it was just like a constant, okay, that worked. All right, I'm going to do that again. Or, okay, well, let me just discipline myself and just spend more time. Instead of just hanging with friends, let me just go back to my dorm and just spend more time with him. Or, you know, nah, I'm not going to go out. Like, I'm just going to just, you know, fast for a couple of days and don't even tell nobody what I was doing. I'm just going back to my room. Now I'm not going to eat. You know, so for me, it was just, I just had a hunger. And that hunger kind of caused me to just remove myself from the things that would, like, pull at my flesh or the things that would, like, get me distracted. So that was like, for me, that was when I started realizing that, okay, I'm starting to see fruits from me sowing these seeds. And then there were times where I would get exposed to different people that had good, solid teachings on faith. And then at that time, that's when me and my wife, we were dating, and she was not, I was on a different direction. I wasn't really locked into our relationship. It was more so like, hey, this is the direction that I'm going. I got to have God with me. I'm introducing him to you. If you with it, then okay, let's do it together. But if not, like, I'm already like sold out. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't mean that we can't have a good time. It's just, I made a transition. I made a change. So I'm going to respect you. One, it can wait. That was faith for me. Faith was like, you know what? If it's worth it, I'll wait for it.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily concerned about the end goal. I'm just more so concerned about, hey, if I just maintain that trust in him, then at some point in time, I'm going to experience what I've been believing for. So if I'm believing for a relationship and marriage, then for me, some things just got to wait. You know, some things we just going to have to just choose to discipline ourselves from, or even just myself. I'm just going to just have to wait until we cross that, you know, that broom or whatever. And then for me, I'm trusting that things will open. That's how it happened. Like, we dated for a long period of time. We started dating in like 2008. I proposed to her in like 2013. And then we've been married for about 11 years now. During that time, like, because I spent all that time spending time with God, there was enough faith on the inside of me where I was like, you know what? Like, I'm trusting him for us to, you know, move out the apartment. And there was still seasons of it. There was still like things that you have to be wise about. So there's always, for me, it's like there's wisdom and you have to be wise. And then there's a part where you just, you know, step out. So sometimes I spend more time waiting on the wisdom side instead of just stepping out, because I'm more concerned that when I step out, like, all right, like, did I make the right decision?
Yeah.
You know, so for me, it was like, nah, let me just, you know, chill for a minute and see what happens. So she was with it. But then eventually it was like, all right, what's next? Like, we got to make these moves. So early on in our marriage, we were making constant moves, and God was just opening up doors, from apartment to new construction home to job opportunities. So things was like just moving fast and fast, to the point where I was like, I wasn't really focused on the process. I was just more focused on, okay, what's next? What's next? To the point now where it's like, okay, well, we had our first child, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, I got to take care of you and her. Like, okay, but what about me? Like, what about, you know? So for me, it was just, I still got the support that I needed from my relationships to keep me rooted and grounded in that faith, to the point where I wasn't concerned about just making people feel as if like I've arrived. Yeah. So I'm always that same way. Like, I will look at every situation, if it's healing, if it's financial, if it's relationship, if it's just taking care of the necessities, there's just certain things where I don't question. I just be like, nah, I'm gonna trust them. Yeah. Now, there are times where I'm tested and like, let's see if you really about it or not. And then I end up like, dang, like, I messed up. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, like, I'm good. Like, I trust him to the point where I'm like, you know what? I don't even, like, even when we was at FedEx, man, I didn't have no, at FedEx, we didn't have insurance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still don't got insurance, dude. Well, you probably got it from someone. I walk by faith, man. Well, yeah, I didn't even think about that. But no, at the time, like, I needed a job. Yeah. Like, I needed to provide for my home. So I put myself out there. Like, what if I get hurt? Like, what if I get injured? Then what? But then my whole mindset was like, no, like, I got to take care of my family. And, you know, fortunate enough, it never happened. But at the same time, it was like, yo, like, if I'm really doing for him and serving him and walking this thing out, I trust that he'll cover me. Yeah. And even during the COVID time, I was like, bro, we had our best season during COVID. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like...
And you was not trying to wear that mask, yo.
At all. I'm still ain't gonna wear it. Nah, I mean, just because, bro. Like,
it was faith, dude. I can respect that, dude. I can respect that, man. You wanted to exercise your faith, and that's kind of the whole thing behind our faith. It's a very personal thing. Yeah. There is a part of it that I believe, when our faith is in line with God's word, our faith should have it should be a crossover. My faith should kind of look similar to your faith in certain ways. Yeah. Because we're following it from God's word, but there are going to be things that he may ask of me that he doesn't ask of you. True. And I think that's where we own our faith at the same time. So with the mask, I mean, I did it sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I forgot about it, and I heard recently they were talking about in North Carolina, they trying to make it a law now that you can't wear your mask.
Oh, they did?
People trying to now case joints and now robbing and all that junk's going up,
I didn't
man.
hear that.
Because folks got their face covered with those masks. Because, you know, people wear, like, the full mask that just keeps the eyes out. Like, it's ski time. Yeah.
What?
I heard that, and I'm like, well, I don't know what to say.
I mean, if it works, I would wear it,
Yeah.
but it just didn't work for me.
Nah,
You know, or I
yeah.
just for me, I was obedient.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not gonna be defiant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just gonna walk around here like, hey, you know, I'm better than you, because, you know, people have certain levels of where they at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but for me, if God exposed truth to me and it becomes reality to me, it ends up becoming just who I am. It's hard for me to go back.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for me to just be like, okay, let me just fit in. Let me
Yeah.
I'll be willing to just accept the persecution from it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So early on, you know, it just didn't make sense at FedEx. I was like, I'm by myself.
Yeah.
Like, you know, okay, I'll do it. But then once I'm out here by myself, it's like, yeah. So it's like, and then,
Yeah.
you know, it was just, to me, it was just like, man, where's God? Like, you know, what can I just say, hey, I trust you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna walk this thing out no matter what. And it's just, if the greater one lives on the inside of me, you know, if I'm redeemed, if I'm covered by the blood, we sit in church on Sunday mornings and whatever, and we're getting taught. We read it for ourselves, or someone is enlightening us about it, then there should be something that should be applied.
Yeah.
You know, at some point. You know what I'm saying? But to your point, like, yeah, there might be certain things that, you know, it ain't reached you yet. You know, so I gotta be the same way. Like, yo, when you started making moves, like, yo, like, I gotta move my family. Like, ain't reached me yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm watching your faith, and that, I think, going back to how we connected, I watched you. You know what I'm saying? Like, one, you already have an established family. You married. Everything that you doing, to me, is like, yo, like, that's someone that I can look up to. And the Bible talks about that. It talks about imitating, you know, faith. It talks about just, you know, watching and observing. And I'm very observant. Yeah. I'm the type of person where I just chill and just, not say I'm stalking or anything, but it's just like, I don't need to be the loudest one in the room. Mm-hmm. I'm just watching. You know, so for me, it's like, nah, I don't really know Jonathan, but I would know him more by his faith.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that right there was like, the fact that we happened to be there, I knew that, okay, it's meant for us to be, you know what I'm saying, like, brothers. Mm-hmm. And for me to, like, watch you transition from, yo, like, we leaving, we coming up here. And the conversations that we had, everybody wasn't on board. And I'm like, all right, we're going to see how this go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this, I'm eating popcorn, bro. I'm like, okay, let's see how this thing walks out. Because, again, like, we have a family. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's more at stake.
It's more,
that.
bro.
The pressure is, you feel the pressure more. So even in that season, like, when I look back at it, those weeks, months I was working, it felt like forever. But I started March 20th. I closed on a home July 26th. So 3 months. Usually you need at least 90 days worth of pay stubs.
Yep. They
started saying realtors ain't trying to show homes because COVID. And luckily we had a company that they really kind of stood behind me, helped me out with my hours and everything. And bro, within 3 months, got to close on a house that met our needs. That was enough space for the crib, and that was in Charlotte. And that was the biggest thing. I was like, Lord, if that trash can does not have that crown on the side of it, I'm not moving here. Because in the beginning, I was like, well, I'll settle for Concord or Harrisburg or wherever. And then I just really felt checked. Like, this whole time, you keep telling people you're moving to Charlotte. And if you're going to have to say, well, I mean, technically, I'm right by Charlotte. I live in Concord, but
I'm in the suburbs.
Charlotte's right there. I can reach. It felt like I didn't fully give it 100%. And I remember the time I told my realtor, narrow that search. If it's not Charlotte, I don't want to look at the house. And I remember they were like, you're going to really limit your options. And I'm like, I just need you to know, if it's not Charlotte, let's not even waste our time there.
So you never second guessed it? Like you never felt like, maybe I missed it, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that was the biggest moment for me when it came to the faith. I felt like at times I ruined everyone's life because we had a good house in South
Like everyone
Carolina.
meaning?
My family.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a good house. They all had their rooms. They had
Friends and
they had
stuff.
friends
Yeah.
there, like plenty friends, a big youth group. Marilyn was leading worship. Everybody was good. I sold the house because I knew God was saying, do this. 2 years we were waiting in South Carolina after I sold my house. We were with my in-laws for 2 years. I had me and Marilyn in one room, 3 of my girls squeezed into another room,
Man.
Dominic in the basement garage area that we built for him. And I'm thinking, I ruined this thing for everybody.
Yeah.
And I look back on it, they look back on it, and we're all like on the same page, Lord. We're just grateful that we listened.
Yeah.
And that they trusted. And we wouldn't be where we're at today had we not taken those steps of faith that at times it was scary.
Yeah.
At times we were confident. You couldn't tell us nothing.
Yeah.
Other times I'm angry with God. What
Yeah.
are you doing? This is embarrassing.
Yeah.
This is humiliating. Other times God's going to do it. I felt like David. Where is my enemies? None of my enemies can touch me.
Yeah.
Next chapter, God, where are you? My enemy's going to kill me and you ain't doing nothing. And next chapter, God, you are good.
Yeah.
Your mercies were
like this.
Yeah. That's what it felt at times. And I knew at times, even with that, I was like, Lord, I just don't want to look back on this season in my life and say, bro, you acted crazy, dog. I didn't want to look back at myself and be like, bro, you were so close if you just held on in faith.
Yeah.
Look how crazy you acted at the
Yeah.
end. Now, it was not like God would have treated me any different, but it was a moment for me to exercise the faith that he gave me. So with that season, looking back on it, I am so grateful. But, bro, that was 2 years of me hearing. I answered, and then I waited 2 years before a job that I wasn't even trying to work at opened up.
Yeah.
And it was a great opportunity, and it was what we needed to get the loan, to get the house. Then God opened another door for me after later on. But I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't take those steps of faith.
Yeah.
And it's not anything we don't try to like glorify those actions. I genuinely don't take credit for none of that. I thank God that by his Spirit, he gave me the strength to continue to trust him.
Yeah.
And I made it through. So when I look back on it, I brag on him. I'm thankful for him that he held me, sustained me, and allowed me to. I was white knuckling it at the end with my faith, white knuckling, like, Lord,
Holding
please,
on.
hoping I did not let go. And man, it's something I can look back on, it's something my kids can look back on, it's something my wife can look back on and say, man. So when God calls them to do something that might feel crazy, scary, exciting,
Yeah.
they can look back at that season because they went through their own feelings through that time, and it will feel familiar.
Yeah.
It will be like, faith isn't always meant to be like God opens all the doors,
Yeah.
and I'm just walking through strutting. It's
Yeah.
like sometimes that first door opens quick and that second door opens, and man, it's looking great. And then for some reason you're standing at that third door in days, months, and you're like, bro, what happened? Did I miss it? Was I not supposed to go through that second door?
Yeah.
And that's why our faith and our relationship with the Lord is so important, because there are going to come times where you wonder, did I miss it?
Yeah.
And you got to go back to the last thing you heard him tell you. And you got to go back to his word. And you got so many stories and people around you. If you practice the faith right and you cultivate a family, brothers and sisters in Christ, you now have people you can talk to about the faith.
Yep.
I'm feeling this kind of way.
Yep.
And they could say, that's normal, bro.
Yep.
That's normal. What was scary sometimes with me was when I would say, bro, we're here, and man, it just seems so crazy. And people would tell me, bro, I couldn't do what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that doesn't
yeah.
help me at all.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
I give it, my hat's off to you, man.
You talking
'cause I
about
could never do that.
before it was done?
Like
or?
before it was done, dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, before we hear.
Did you hear that from me?
No.
Okay,
no,
cool,
No,
cool.
no,
All right,
never
cool.
heard that from you. You encourage every step of the way.
Okay.
Dude. You encourage every
Because
step of the way.
I couldn't imagine, bro, like hearing that. I mean, I'm sure it was all with good intentions, But in that moment right now, it was like, that's definitely not what I need.
What you want to hear
right
is
now.
people that are walking in faith too saying, yeah, but I 100% get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I haven't gone through that. I've gone through something else, and I remember how scared I felt. But God is faithful. Like, you want people to, you don't want just the one word answers. God is great, whatever. Like, you want people to show their rawness of their faith and be like, bro, I remember I was losing my mind at times, and then at just the moment I thought I was gonna break, God came through.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that. And so that encourages you.
Yeah.
This notion of trying to have this perfect faith, that doesn't inspire nobody.
Yeah.
Perfection doesn't inspire no one. All it does is make them feel worse.
Yeah.
Because it's unattainable.
Yeah.
So when they see the rawness of your faith and the authenticity of the faith, and they see your emotions and they hear you struggling, but they still see you standing on his promises, that's encouraging to people, man. And that's why you got to talk about faith with people and your journey and so forth.
Yeah.
So for today's conversation, it was simply that when it comes to our faith is an everyday process.
Mm-hmm.
It is a process. By definition, the word, because that word brings about a lot of different definitions, but to fit where we're going and what we're talking about today, it says by definition, the process means to mentally or emotionally deal with or make sense of. It's a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. It is the act of going forward. You ever heard the statement? It's a quote, life is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah.
The message behind it, I was reading up on it, and it was just talking about that rather than concentrating on getting there, rather than concentrating on achieving that goal, like life's true value is found in the experiences, in the development and learning all that happens along the route. Mm-hmm. So when you see life as a journey rather than the destination, you make the most out of every day that makes up that journey.
Yep.
And you take the good, you take the bad, you take the highs, you take the lows. You learn to appreciate it all. You learn the lessons of it all, of the journey that in time will take you to what the destination is.
Correct. Yeah.
There's so many people we can look at in the Bible. You look at Joseph, and you look at the process of Joseph. Here my man had a dream. It wasn't his dream. Like, I had this dream that one day I'll be able to do this for everyone. No, it was a dream God gave him. He shares it with his family. I've heard people say, Joseph was arrogant and cocky, man. Mm-hmm. I never saw that. I would say maybe he was a little innocent and naive in sharing all the details.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to tell my older brothers, bro, I had this dream, all y'all going to bow down to me.
Yeah.
You probably didn't realize that's going to make them feel some kind of way.
Exactly.
And then, Dad, Mom, you too. Y'all going to bow down to me. No.
Bow.
But if I focused on, man, I had a dream about there was going to be 7 years of famine, and God was going to use me to help to to end the famine and bring food for, but leave out the part about people bowing down to you. So that's why I said maybe he was a little naive. He didn't think of it. He's clearly the youngest of the siblings. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't like reading too much into the story like that, because then I think you make it out to be something that if he didn't even put it in there,
right?
Don't make Joseph out to be this arrogant guy when we don't see that throughout Scripture at all. But you see the process he went through. Mm-hmm. He was given a dream. His brothers were jealous of him. One wanted to kill him. Some wanted to kill him. One of the oldest brothers was like, "No, man, we can't be doing that. Let's sell him into slavery." You know, they ended up going with that and made a little money. And then he goes and he's faithful, and God elevates him. And then he goes and living right hand to Potiphar. All the authority given to him. His wife feels some kind of way towards him. She tries to make her move. Yeah. He runs. My man bounces and again wrongly accused. In prison now. Yep. Through the journey of rights and wrongs, ups and downs, injustices, my man stays faithful. Mm-hmm. God keeps his hand upon him, and now he fulfills that which God put in his heart to do. Yeah. That was a process. He didn't just go from I had this dream and now I'm saving nations. Yep. No, it was a process.
Yeah, it was.
Paul went from executing, or at least being like rallying the execution. Now, the Bible never makes it seem like he had his hand on, like he was physically killing people, but he was definitely spearing it up. He goes from that, loses his sight. I bet those 3 days felt like centuries, dog. God raises him up, trains him. He then he writes majority of the books in the New Testament. Like there's a process he went through. We can look at everyone. David, there's a process David went through. And those stories would not be what they are today had they not endured that everyday process that they had to go, the highs, the lows, the challenges, the things that were just unfair, was wrong. Like, why? Why?
Yeah.
They went through it.
Yeah.
And now we get to read their faith story. We get to be encouraged by their faith, the ups and the downs, not just they did everything perfect. Because then again, then we would feel like they're the untouchable. I could never do that.
But the thing about me, though, it's funny that you mentioned Joseph first, because that's where I tend to think about a lot. I'm kind of, if I was, like me being Joseph, I probably wouldn't open, like the season that I'm in right now, I see something and I'm more careful when I open up my mouth and who I open up my mouth to. Like you see the vision, like similar to back to you, how you saw Charlotte. The minute that you start opening up your mouth, or you, I mean, of course you got to share with your family, but the fact that if you even open it up to your family, for me, it's like, see, I'm not ready for what I'm gonna get in return, because I'm naturally not the type of person that likes to address conflict. Like I'm more like, hey, I'll do everything to keep the peace, and if I have to be more mindful of what I say, then chances are, if it doesn't sound right, it doesn't make sense, I'm more concerned about how you're gonna receive it, then I'm gonna just keep it to myself. So in Joseph's situation, that's what I think about. Like, bro, could you have still reached the destination if you never
You never shared that dream.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but I know he had to share it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like, that's where my struggle is. It's like, dang, I see this. You know, I know that I'm not going to be able to go throughout this journey alone. You know, Joseph didn't get to that point alone. But for me, it's like, all right, like, yeah, I'm going to have to, like, do that. So for me, it's like I'm just still trying to learn. Like I enjoy the process. Like I enjoy the journey. Like for me, like it's just being able to just muscle up. Like some things I just feel like you just gotta man up. You know, it ain't gonna be, you know, easy. So I'm used to the hardship. I'm used to the trials and tribulations, mainly because of how I was raised or where I come from. I don't know if that plays a part to it or not, or just reading stories. What I like to do is I like to prove people wrong, or like just to prove the devil wrong at the end of the day. Because I really can care less about the people that he uses or the situation that he uses. I try to, if I'm gonna confront anything, I'm gonna confront him. Like, no, God's word is true and every man is a lie. So I'm canceling that right now. Whatever thought I'm experiencing right now, whatever feelings I'm having right now, like I have to take authority over it. You know, so for me, that's where I tend to kind of like lean more into is just, hey, no, like you said, nah. You told me, I heard this, clear as day. This is where you want me to go. And for me, it's like, again, that's the season I'm in. It's like I hear these things, and if I'm not prepared to open up my mouth, then I make either a mental note of it, or what I do a lot is I just journal. I just write it down. Whatever all the journey that I've been through so far, like I have like 4 or 5 composition notebooks of just entries. I mean, I don't have time as much because I'm married and got kids and all that stuff. But early on in the process of the journey, and I necessarily didn't have people that I can reach out to, was available, or maybe wasn't as interested in hearing me, you know, mope about it or whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. I mean, my time with God is more so intimate. So I'm going to just journal it. And then at some point in time, if I can go back to it a year or 5 years, 10 years from now, I'm like, dang, like that happened. I said that? I said that. okay, all right, cool. But like, let's do this. What's the next chapter?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, when you said Joseph, I was like, yes. Like, I mean, I think so many people are so, even myself, we're so excited about the robe, the ring on your finger, you know, or the position, the opportunities. So what I got to get there? What shortcuts I got to take? You know, who I got to like meet and, you know, connect with. You know what I'm saying? And it's more, for me, it's like, would you still rock with God if you didn't have that?
Yeah.
You know, would you still like?
And I think many of us, we do want those things. We want those platforms to elevate him.
Yeah.
But the reality is he knows what we can actually handle.
He knows, man.
And
He knows.
you'll never see a faith story without the tension, without the hardship, without the trials. You'll never see it. And as much as we say we want this, like Peter, when Jesus is talking to Peter, and he asked him like that 3 times, like, man, do you love me? And he,
No, I love you.
Yeah. And then by the 3rd time, he's feeling some type of way, like, bro, you asking me again? Like, do you not think I love you?
Yeah.
And it's almost like he's needing him to understand, listen, it's more than just words.
Yeah.
Like, you need to understand what your love for me is going to require of you.
Yeah.
He knew what was about to happen, too.
Yeah.
And so I as much as even with Peter, like, bro, he has some great stories. You see him fumble big time. And then you still see God elevate him to use him.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes to our faith, if we're trying to patent our faith, we want it to be some trademark that everyone can just be wowed by, enamored by. And your faith is about you. It's not about him, because if it is about him, you got to be willing to fumble.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to embrace. I look at James 1. In James 1, 2-4, it says, man, dear brothers and sisters, when trials of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. We hear a passage like that. Dude, can you imagine going through it? You're going through it, dog. You feel like no one's understanding.
Yeah.
You feel like, bro, this season I've been faithful. Things ain't working out.
Yeah.
All these doors are shut.
Yeah.
And then I come up and you share that with me, and I'm like, bro, man, I'm reminded of James, man. And James says, consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds.
Yeah.
That might not always sit well in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
But when can you share that?
Yeah, true.
It's like you hope to learn that lesson before you're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
So that when someone reminds you, hey, this is actually what we've been talking about. Remember we talked about, this is your opportunity to let that endurance grow. So that your faith will grow, so that you will be more perfect, complete, not needing anything.
Yep.
So this moment, you have to go through this in order to get to that level.
Yeah.
And try to encourage folks like that. But when we're in that,
it's hard.
it's hard to accept that it is an encouragement.
Yeah.
But it don't feel like no
It
encouragement.
don't, man. I mean, I put myself out there when before I got the job with FedEx, I got let go from a job, you know, and I was pretty bummed about it. But then at that time, I was like, oh, man, I got the resume, I got the experience. I'm surely going to get another job just like that, you know. And it went months. I'm like, nah, man, like, don't tell me I got to, like, do this now.
Yeah.
Like, this the lowest of the lowest. I don't want to do this now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, Lord, now, I'm good, but, don't make me do it,
Don't
Lord. You know?
humble me this much, Lord.
So I was like, it was a humbling experience.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in that season, bro, I just had the best praise and worship. Like, back to the whole James stuff, like, consider it pure joy. And for me, it was like, okay, I'm not really feeling happy. You know, feeling wise, I'm not. But the minute that I listen to a certain song, breakthrough.
Yeah.
Worship song, breakthrough. God will always send me a song, or God will, that's why playing drums will be my outlet. Even in those moments, you couldn't even tell. But that was me giving him, like, in that trial, like, this is my moment to show you that I'm Like, I'm joyful. I'm happy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm watching other people share testimonies, and I'm having to like support that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like, I wasn't happy, but I knew in that season that I needed to give him something to work with in that season. And at that point, I just stopped thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I was like, all right, so I wasn't hearing this before. And then that's when other doors started opening up with the whole opportunity with, and I never saw myself doing that. But at that moment, I was like, I need something. And then I knew that's where he wanted me to be because I connected with you.
Mm-hmm.
Had I been disobedient, I felt like if I never walked it out and gone through that process, I feel like I would have stopped you from getting to where you need to be.
Yeah, because you were the one that gave me that in to get that job.
Yes. So for me, it was like, that's why I trust God.
Yeah.
That's why I walk by faith. It ain't about me. It's about the person that I'm going to connect to.
Yeah, because your obedience, you're choosing to take that job even though it was not no sexy, attractive job.
Yeah.
It positioned you in a way where it allowed you to be a part of my story.
Yep.
Because God knew he was going to provide a job.
Yep.
You was able to put that word in for me, and I never knew you until that weekend, and then I was telling you about looking for a job, and you was like, hey, I can talk to my boss, and within a week or so, I'm having conversations with the boss.
Yep.
Following weekend, I'm coming up for a ride along, getting paperwork done. I'm like, wait, do I got the job? Because you ain't even say it. He's like, yeah, you got the job. And I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. And even that, God provides a job, okay? But Marilyn was offered a better job, too.
Better.
Dream job.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, turn your dream job down so I can go work at FedEx. Woo. It's like, huh?
Yeah.
Now, if I said, you got to turn it down because I got this pastoral position.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
It would.
But I said, no, I'm going to deliver packages. I'm going to wear shorts.
I'm going to be hours away.
I got to go in the furthest city that no one's ever heard of.
And I'm not going to be able to help you pick up kids.
No.
Yeah, like you're going to have to hold it. Yeah.
You're going to have to hold it down.
Yeah.
And, bro, but God just knows what he's doing, dog. And there's so much we'll miss out on if we try to make sense out of everything. If we just want him to kind of get our approval before the next step is taking place. I learned that God creates and orchestrates, and that's been something that I've always, in the past several years, I always keep going back to that statement. God creates and he orchestrates. He doesn't leave things up to chance and coincidence. He creates and he orchestrates. So come what may, I take it one day at a time by faith.
Yep.
There's no better story that will bring more honor and praise and elevate his name more than for believers to say, I don't know what tomorrow will bring. Come what may, one day at a time.
Yep.
I do it in faith. I do it with him.
Yeah.
All will be well.
Yeah. You got to be where you're supposed to be too.
Yeah.
Like being there, like you have to be there. Like for all of my experience and just my encouragement to just anybody, like you have to be where God called you to be. You have to be there. Like there will be many opportunities for you to just go somewhere else because either they're going or you're watching other people's faith or whatever, but he's told you to stay or he's told you to move. And you may not have everything all, planned out to your point about creating and orchestrating. He has the plan, so for me, that's how I look at it. It's like, okay, if I'm where I'm supposed to be, if that door is closed, if that opportunity is not opening up, then maybe I'm supposed to be here. And you're going to have to be okay with us being where we are. If it's 2 years, I may have told you, it's going to be a year, and then this happens, and I failed many times telling my wife at the time, we'll be in this season for a year, and then, this will happen. And then I totally forget to check in at a year's time because, things happen. Yep. So for me, it's like, you know what? If it's longer for a reason. So just let God do his work. Like, just let him do his thing. And if you want to do your own thing, then you're probably going to make a mess.
Yeah.
You know, you're probably going to just...
Yeah, just make sure the reason that it may need to be longer is because that's his doing and not your doing.
Exactly.
That's now you're making it longer.
Yeah.
And there's a fine line
It's a fine line. And that's why a relationship with him is important.
It's clutch.
It's clutch. Like, you have to drive out all the noise. You have to spend intimate time with him. Sometimes I feel like or for me, like, I got too many voices going on. I need to add more voices, get more mentors, or get more advice, and not just hear myself.
Yeah.
So it's still a fine line. Like, I'm not saying like, hey, just do it. Like, no, you might want to just, wisdom wise, check and balances. I feel like if you're single and independent, I mean, yeah, you can, you probably are not as conscious about it or considerate about it. But the seats that I feel like we in, like, there's more weight if you don't do it that way, or if you don't check in to see, okay, what do you think about it? Or, hey, what's your thoughts on it? Okay, the decision, I feel, still falls on you, but at the same time, like, did she say it? Did the kids say it? Or, I have young kids. I can't just excuse my 8-year-old. She might have a better relationship with God than I do. She might have more time. She might hear something. So I just can't just push or dismiss every word. So I gotta, the people that I trust who are in my village, in my community, then I have to be willing to be vulnerable and allow them to help me make a good decision. And if not, then I might just need to just spend more time with him.
Yeah. I came across another famous passage that we know. But I started spending time really meditating on it and looking further into it. And it's Psalms 118, verse 24. And it says that this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And I started having the question, how often do we start the day with the reality that he made this day? The same way he made the earth. The same way in his creation, he did it in 6 days, and he made man in his image. The Bible's saying that this is the day that the Lord has made. He's telling us that we ought to rejoice and be glad in it. Like, yesterday could have been my last day. Could I stand behind it and felt like I made the most of that day because it was a gift that was given to me by God? Can I say I gave it my all? Like, the fact that I woke up this morning, it was a gift. The fact that he's giving me this breath in my lungs right now. We're having this conversation. Each breath that I'm not even thinking about is my next breath coming after this one. It's just another gift he's giving me. Like, the fact that he designed it, he created this day, he purposed this day. If I start looking at each day in that light, it would allow me to appreciate. It would allow me to see more purpose in that day. It will give me a different perspective of that day. And I will treat it just more responsibly. Because think about it. Like, how easy is it to, let's say this Friday, we're going to take a road trip. Fellas, we're going out. It's going to be 2 days. We're going to be eating nice spots. It's so easy for us to be like, bro, 2 more days to that trip. And we just got to make it through this week because I can't wait to get
Friday,
to this day. And imagine what you overlook or what you miss today because you're so focused on tomorrow. There's there's a person I could have ministered to. There's a person that could have ministered to me. There's just so many small things that may not have been significant that day. But those few things adding up would have led to this event or this experience or this encounter that would change the trajectory of everything. But because I get so fixated on the destination, on where I want to go, going from point A to point B, I miss all that God wants to do. Like, I am convinced God does his greatest work in the process, in the journey.
Yes, sir.
Even though we get think about everything we do is about, when you go to school, it's for your career. So it's like, I just got to finish school so I can get this degree, so I can make this money, so I can live this life. and you get out of school, you're looking for that job. You don't want just any job. You want the best job that's going to put you on that right path to get your goals.
Yeah.
And then you don't enjoy the friendships. You don't enjoy the classes. You don't enjoy those moments because I just need to graduate. I'm trying to get out of here, man, and start getting paid.
Yeah.
And then you meet someone special. And then it's like, yo, we want to get married. I can't wait till we get married. Let's just get there.
Yep.
Yo. And then it's like, then you want to have kids. And then you want to find a house. And then.
Yep.
And like my daughter's graduating she finished school this Saturday. She's graduating. So so Adiana worked on her recap video. Dude, I'm watching the video. I'm streaming, dog. I'm like, I'm seeing if anyone's in the room with me. I'm like, and what I would do, dog, to go back and be with her at that age, dog.
Oh, man.
I instantly started, I cherished it, and then I started feeling like bad. Like I'm like, Lord, did I make the most of that time? Or was I fixated on, man, when she gets older, she'll be so much easier. And I just started feeling some regret. Like, man, I hope she feels like I was present and I cherished those moments, those years.
Yeah.
Because now I'm looking back, she's 17, she's graduating, and what I would do to just go back to that time. I got pictures of all my kids super young, smiling, playing around, and I miss those days. And I'm like, man, Lord. And what I want to do is cherish the days that I have with them now. I don't want to, because I know at times I was like, bro, it is so much work having 4 little kids.
Yeah.
Man, when they start feeding themselves, when they could drive, oh man, life's gonna be so easy. And then, there's times where they driving and it's just me and Marilyn in the house. I'm like,
Miss them.
Man, I miss it. I don't like this. Is this what it's gonna be like when they out? I don't know if I like this.
Yeah.
And so I want to be extra intentional about today.
Yeah.
About the moments that I have with them. I want to have that same mentality with my faith.
Yeah.
I want to soak up this moment.
Yeah.
And I see it as a gift because I'm not promised to even make it home.
Yeah.
The Lord can come back mid-session. My sneakers hit the floor.
Gone.
My J's.
Don't forget my J's.
I never got to wear those. All the stupid things we can think of. And I'm like, man, it was just a reminder of how time flies.
Yeah.
Time is our most precious commodity. I want to do the best with my time.
Yeah.
I want to live my life to the fullest. I want to be known for my faith. I want to be known for the way I loved others. And I'm like, that one little video, all it did was bring back all these memories and start making me wonder, did I give it my best? Was I in the moment?
Yeah.
Or was I typically falling into that rhythm of, I just got to provide.
Yeah.
I got to work.
Yeah.
What you want me to do, I got to work. And then I'm not there. I'm not present. I'm missing moments.
But what you, that scripture, this is the day that the Lord has made.
Mm-hmm.
Like the thing that stands out, and you hit it on the nail for me is purpose. We forget about purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Like purpose is so essential. Like purpose is why you were created.
Yeah. What
you were here for. And I've came across a lot of people and I hear it, man, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I'm here to do. Like we do things.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But me, like I feel like I've accomplished more if I've been about my purpose. So every day I wake up, I'm not singing no song or quoting any verse or anything, but I am mindful of what my purpose is. I think what's helped me a lot is because I know that I'm a husband and I'm a father. So my process is I'm gonna spend more time on discovering more about me as a husband, me as a father, me as a man. Those are the 3 things that I do know. Everything else, I'm still trying to figure out. Mm-hmm. But those are 3 things I know I was created for. I can't change. I mean, I don't want to change being a man.
You got some new technology.
Yeah, we got some new technology, man.
But even it doesn't fully change it.
Nah, because you can't. Going back to the Creator, orchestrating things. He created us.
Yep.
To be a man. I want to be a man.
Yep.
So that's my purpose. Doesn't mean that I have it all figured out, But that's my purpose when I wake up in the morning is, I'm going to be a man today, whatever that is. So that means work. I'm going to work no matter what it is. I may not have the necessary job that I may want, but I'm going to find some work to do.
Yeah.
If it's around the house, if it's outside, like that's my purpose is work.
Yeah.
My boys need to see me working. No, that's my purpose. As a husband, it's the same thing. I have to submit. I have to lead. So for me, I wake up with that in mind. So I spend my moments as a father, similar to you, like in those moments, because I know that's my purpose as a dad.
Yep.
So I am going to protect and limit myself, and now know that, hey, I'm not going to overly commit myself to things. Even though I may have that opportunity to do it, but I'm going to be very strategic about it, because now I'm thinking, well, if I spend time there, how much time I'm not going to have with them. And it's a constant fight for me.
Yeah.
Because if I'm on a job, I'm giving you 8 to 10 hours already a day. So how much time do I truly have as a purposeful father to be engaged when I come home? So that means now I have to be select for the jobs that I choose. And that's why I saw you. You was like, bro, you transitioned out of FedEx. I was like, yo, you forget, like, what's up with us?
Yeah.
But then you started telling me, like, nah, I need structure. I need to be off at a specific time because Dom, Adi got this going on. I got to be able to pick them up. And I'm watching them like, dude, like, you know what? You got a point. But, man, the money ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I had that sweet route you had, man.
That's true. Like, I had a nice route.
You had that nice route.
I'm like, yo, like, but at the same time, I would hear the stress and the challenges of my wife at the time. So am I feeling my purpose as a husband now? Because now I'm focused on, okay, she can't get over to them and pick them up from school. So should I need to be closer to school? So in my mind, I'm thinking, like, although I may have not prayed about it and released my faith about it yet, but I'm subconsciously thinking in my mind, like, God, it would be nice if I had another job closer so that I can fulfill my purpose as a husband and a father. And I didn't know exactly how that was going to work out, but I woke up every morning, this is the day that the Lord has made.
Yeah.
Like, that's my purpose, that's my purpose, that's my purpose. And now it's to the point where I'm instilling it in my kids. And one of the things that, a quote that I heard, and I've taught it to my kids, I share it before they leave, and as soon as I let them go into the building to school, I say, hey, great moments shall always find you prepared. Prepared. You never know when your moment is. This may be your moment, but are you prepared? So for me, I'm always spending time being prepared. Am I prepared when that time comes where, hey, you graduating? Am I going to be ready? Certain situations I do feel like you can be prepared, better prepared. So how much time do I spend with you? How much time do I spend just studying how to be a better father or a better husband when a situation comes up and my wife or my kids may need to lean more on my faith? Watch me execute and watch me get through it. So it's the same like you were talking about, like, hey, like, no, they need to be able to see me get through this so that they can be prepared for their moment. Yeah. So when Dom is a husband, when Dom is a father, or when Adi, whatever, they watched you. So now they should be prepared. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So for me, I that's where that whole faith thing is not just a denomination of faith. Like, it's more like a, hey, no, this is purpose. Yeah. You got to be prepared, and you have to be ready at all times.
Yeah, because the Bible says that faith is living and active.
Yeah.
Like, like faith has to be active.
Yeah.
Faith has to be lived out. Faith without works is dead. The Bible makes it clear. Well, His word is living and active, but you get it.
Yeah.
So I think when our faith becomes stagnant, it's the worst thing that we could ever do to ourselves. We're sabotaging ourselves when we allow our faith to hit cruise control. Yeah. So even when I look back on that, my kids have gone through different things where I'm grateful that we're under the same roof where I can help weather them through the difficulties and the challenges. Some of them have went through different seasons where they're personally going through their own challenges. And I value these times because it's preparation.
Yep.
So that when they are on their own, they can feel more confident standing on their faith.
Yep.
And if they need some advice or something, we've cultivated a relationship where they know they can approach me and not feel like I can't ask him this because he's going to be like, you should have known this already.
Yeah.
Like we created this thing where none of us got all the answers. So when I look at all this, I'm like, man, we all want to be in some way, at some point, we want to be that Christian man, that Christian woman that folks can be like, yo, when I grow up, that's what I want to be. I want to be a father like them. I want to be a wife like them, a husband like them. And those are cool things when that happens. We got to be careful that, again, that does not become the goal, that does not become the target.
Yes, sir.
Because, again, then what we do is we put this pressure on ourselves to be this living example for everybody, dog. And we leave no room to be human and I don't got anything else in me.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I am so upset. Like we don't leave room for us to be human and to kind of the Bible. One of the things that I learned in that 2-year season was a word called lament. And there is a healthy biblical way to lament to vent.
Yeah.
Like the fact that the Bible talks about us. Yeah. Learning how to lament. I learned that in a healthier way. And it's literally what it is. You got to get that out. Yeah. I am frustrated. Yeah. This does not make sense. This doesn't even feel right. And it's like, this is crazy. Yeah. I probably lamented longer than I probably would have wanted to. But again, it's not my plan. It's God's plan. Yeah. And so I think again, when our faith is rooted in Him, in His Word, not in the goals of what our faith produced. Yep. Not in not necessarily the fruit of, because we could take something like that is meant to be all about Christ and make it all about us. To be the model, exemplary man of faith, you know? And rather than allowing your faith to point people back to the source and the inspiration of what actually got you from point A to point B, it's more about how I never saw you slip, dog. You stayed the course the whole time, man. You right there, you're like, that man right there, man. Let me tell you about this man right here. And it keeps going to you, and then it feels good, and it gives you value. Like, it gives you worth and purpose. And even that, you got to be careful.
It makes the fall harder, too.
Yeah.
Oof. That makes that fall even harder.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to make sure that we don't get lost in that. Sanctification is a process. That is that process of us being made holy. Yeah. It is a daily process where each day I have the opportunity to walk in faith, asking and seeking God to make me more like Him. My faith should make me more like Him. My faith should bring me through that fire to where He sanctifies me. He purges me. Yeah. Those things that people are like, bro, that's not even that big of a deal. That's your standard. Yeah. I'm convicted by this. Yeah. He needs to purge this for me. Yeah. And to be okay with feeling, and I felt this at time, like alone, that you think other folks would be striving and wanting to die to themselves the same way. Yeah. Like, let me see your back to see if I see them cross marks indents on your back. Because we're supposed to carry our cross every day. Yep. And you don't want to get fixated on that. But sometimes it gets lonely because you don't feel like you don't see folks doing that. That's part of faith too, dog. It is. Sometimes it's not going to be the popular right. When the Bible says that the way to destruction is like a highway, and that the masses are going to be on it. Yep. But the way that leads to life is that narrow path, and few find it. Few. Yeah. Even in our faith, if we're not careful, we make it feel like we're going to win the whole world to Jesus. The Bible painted a clear picture already. We don't know who's going to be the one to to respond to the faith, which is a miracle for people to respond.
Absolutely.
But the picture is that few find it, and it's a narrow path. Why are we thinking we're going to run over this world and take everybody?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to live as though we can.
Yeah.
But the reality is, he said it in his word.
Yeah.
It's a narrow path. Few people find it. Few are on it. I don't know who they are. It's in God's hand. But I don't want to be the reason why someone else did not get the message.
But it's being more exposed even now.
Yeah.
About that road. I think maybe early on it wasn't but I'm just now it's very narrow.
Yeah.
It's super narrow, and I mean, I think you spoke on a message a couple weeks ago on different topics. Just I mean, it's narrow. I mean, it's
the unity message.
Yeah. I mean, there's just certain topics. It's tough.
It's tough. It's funny too for me because I don't. There's certain things like the Democrats and Republicans. Like I don't care about either party. Dude.
Yeah.
I could care less.
Yeah.
I don't claim either. I ain't repping the blue, the red, the Crips, the Bloods. Like I don't care about that kind of stuff. I feel like we need to be fighting more to make sure we're united on His word and His understanding.
Yeah.
But other folks, bro, they get so passionate about that.
Yeah.
And people leave the church because they find out you're about that. And I'm like, man, the enemy ain't playing, man. He's doing what he's doing well.
It's not. And it goes back to just during COVID. Like COVID just truly just, man, I can't even put it in words. Like it's just, for me, it was true exposure. Even for me, just my faith. Like everybody, I just felt like it was to a point where this is a moment, and that's one of the things again I heard, and I've hold on to it, and I don't know if it was an elderly lady or what, but she was like, if you put a tea bag in hot water, you'll find out what's in it. When you put a tea bag in hot water, pressure, heat, you'll find out what's in it. And for me, that's the narrow part.
Yeah.
Is there going to come a point in time where you about to find out, whatever that pressure may be, you're going to find out what's on the inside of you. And the uncomfortable part is that being exposed to the world.
Yeah.
You know, social media plays a part in that. Just certain things, just, you know, we're watching it in front of our eyes happen to a lot of people that we may have looked up to in the faith, and now see like, dang.
Yeah, I feel like there's been so many fallouts.
So many. That could be another conversation another day, but I'm just saying, like, you got.
I remember when I first saw someone that I really looked up to. There was an artist, and they were so just good, and there was so much passion and zeal. And then when I saw them question the faith and then walk away from the faith, it did really mess with me.
It did, didn't it?
It really messed with me. Now, I got to guard my heart, because now, if I'm not careful, I'm more like, this ain't even new no more.
Become numb to it, right?
Yeah, you become numb rather than your heart being heavy.
Yeah.
Because just because they walked away doesn't mean they can't be restored. But yeah, and again, I think that's why our faith is so key, because even in that, I wanna carry myself and conduct myself in a way that is honoring to Him.
Yeah. That
is not a reflection of the church establishment that we made.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where it's like he's purging, you know, and he's sifting the wheat and the
that's true.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't want to be that cold.
Yeah, facts.
It might be exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be like relishing in that.
True. That's facts.
I still want to have a heavy heart.
Yep.
And so if my faith is rooted in Him and I'm abiding in Him, then my heart's going to grieve when His heart grieves. And my heart will rejoice when He rejoices. So my faith is what keeps me there. My faith is forged through the difficulties and through the challenges, so that I come to a place where I can consider it pure joy. The reality is, you won't always walk through that. Because God forbid something happens to one of your kids. That's not the moment where you're going to consider it pure joy.
No, you're not. Yeah.
My prayer is to your analogy of the tea with the hot water, that what I say with my mouth is actually what's in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do want to continually present my faith to the Lord, submit it to His Word, pray that if there's things that ought not be there, that's producing things that are not healthy,
Yeah, get it out of you.
get it out of me,
Yeah,
Lord. May
absolutely.
I trust you enough to know even that thing that I think is good, if it's holding me back, if it's deceiving me, may it just purge it from me.
And see, I feel like that's the part people need to hear.
Yeah,
Like, tell me about that time.
yeah,
How did you do it?
Yeah.
Like, what steps did you take to get that out of you? You know what I'm saying? I feel like we spend so much time avoiding that or bottling it up, or no, you're not supposed to talk about that.
and we're waiting for it to be that clean story
Yeah,
where
like,
it's
nah, like,
I once was us, but now I'm fine.
Right, yeah,
It's but let's marinate on that.
yeah,
that
let's
lost
spend
part.
time
What is
at
that?
spend time
Yeah.
with that. Like, that's the part where I feel like it's important.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the whole going back to point A to point B. Like, I want to know that part.
Yeah.
Because that's the part that I need.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that I feel like will give us hope to be united. Is that, hey, Jonathan is sharing a specific moment of his purging, lamenting, reconciliation, forgiveness, how he got up. So for me, it's like that's where I hope our opportunity comes.
Yeah.
Where I'm able to share that with someone.
Yeah.
It may not be in a setting like this, or it may be just through casual conversation, or you don't necessarily have to look for someone to like tell my story to. It'll happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, because this is a day that God has made, when I live with it knowing it's a gift,
Yeah.
when I live with the fact that the realization that He made today,
That's good.
that there's purpose in today,
Yep.
that I need to walk in that purpose, and that I need to keep my faith in line with Him and trust Him. I might not be where I want to be. I might not be where I hoped I would be.
Yeah.
Can I find contentment in you, Lord? And no, it's not even about me.
Yeah.
You saved me. The real gift is what lies in the future when you come back. That's when I get to experience the real gift.
Absolutely.
Until then, may I be a part of the life's greatest mission, which is to tell others about this gift
That's right.
and be a part of your mission. Like the fact that you entrusted me with that, I'm honored by that. I'm humbled by that, Lord. Can I focus on what really matters? You and the day you put before me. And trust that if it's your will that I get to point B, I'll get there, and I'll get there when I'm supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And be okay with that.
Yeah.
May we release the pressure of living up to anyone's status quo,
Yep.
of all my kids having these degrees and they're married at this age and grandkids. None of that stuff.
Yeah.
God, it's your will.
Yeah.
It's your will.
Yeah.
When you want it, how you want it.
Yep.
I want my life to be honoring to you. I want my faith to point other people to you. But I have to endure the process. I have to embrace it. I have to love it. And I've come to really love the journey. I find more peace in it. There's not a pressure of, I used to feel that pressure of folks like, man, didn't you go to seminary and you got this? Like,
Ain't you supposed to be this by now?
Ain't you-
Like, you should have like a
and
church
I'm
or
like, bro,
something?
I've had some phenomenal experiences that have allowed my relationship with the Lord to go so deep.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't have had I not been in those places. I've been able to do things with Him that I'm so grateful that I actually followed through with Him. I am content, dude.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
content.
But that's why
Like-
I'm like, the fact that you're doing this right now,
Yeah.
like the conversations that when you put the first episode
Yeah.
or when you made the announcement, I was like, yo, yes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've heard the lament. Like, you shared the lament. And I felt like that was for me to pray for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that wasn't for me to share with others. Like, man, like, and that's the part that I can't stand too. Is like, yo, I'm lamenting to you. Don't share it with everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's between me and you.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
so for you to share those moments and for you to be faithful. I'm talking about faithful, bro. Behind the scenes, faithful.
Yeah.
And like, yo, let's do this. Like, and you wanted to make moves, or you have the, not saying that you sit down and got sermons prepared for moments, but to finally see you in this space, that's the process. And to hear you say, I'm content. I could care less of how many views, how many likes, how many whatever. Like, this is my space.
Like, we're not built for the fame that we want. We're really not, because then we get upset that we got no space, no privacy. And I'm like, well, that comes with fame. That's what you wanted, right?
That's what you want, right?
And it's like, no, man. Like, I don't.
But it's so tempting, though.
Yeah.
Because again, like, you get on this journey, and you want to be a perfectionist, and you want to do everything with excellence. So there's preparation.
Yep.
There's research, there's time, which you like, and then eventually you want to come back and be like, man, how was I sitting?
Yeah.
How did I sound?
Yeah.
Like, any comments today?
Yeah.
Like especially when I used to play, was getting serious about drums, and I would post videos and. Like, how many times I got to do this all over again? Dang, man, I put all this work in and I ain't get no views.
Yeah.
The analytics ain't right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So then God has to check me.
Your motives. Why are you doing this?
Why I'm doing it. Like, I was only doing it just to be like, man, God, I just want to just play. I just want to glorify you. But why? Really?
Yeah. Do you really?
Do you really?
Because if that's if that's the objective, you did it, and I love you.
Yeah.
But if it's you want to put my name on it, but you want other folks to see it and be like, yo, man, you killing it, dog. You ain't got no. And then, we just, my heart is, as we just continue having the conversation of faith, that people find the freedom to trust the process.
Yeah.
That people find the freedom to enjoy a relationship with the Lord. No strings attached.
Yep.
Get to know him. Understand how much he loves you. Understand that this faith he's given you is a gift, not to control you, but to actually free you from all the bondages of this world, to just allow that faith to in sync you with him.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm like, bro, I'm good. I'm content. And I enjoy the journey now. I enjoy where I'm at right now, what God is doing. And at the end of the day, whatever he wills, so be it. So be it. So I enjoy the everyday process, and I enjoy this conversation.
Yeah,
Just
man.
really be able to chop it up with you. I feel like, even though I know you say you're like you watch and you listen and you kind of keep to yourself. It's what's funny is, though you're like that, you're probably the most social person. Like, you attract people,
Which
dog,
is crazy, right?
and they're like, I love Antoine. Everyone's like that, and it's not even like it's something you need. I think it's the way he made you, and you make people feel comfortable, and you're very encouraging. I think it's just a gift that you don't even have to work at. I think it's just the way he designed you to do it. So it becomes a good conduit for you to just encourage people in the faith.
Yeah.
Without you, trying to make something happen.
Yeah. Like, I care about people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, for me, you should feel like this brother is like just as transparent, can care less.
Yeah.
But he's so interested in what I have to say.
Yeah.
Without wanting anything in return. Like, I'm just happy to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to just know you. You know what I'm saying? So, look out for me if you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, Toy, like, come on up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying, let me jump in. You know what I'm saying?
Man, we ready for you to come back.
You know what I'm
Let's
saying?
go.
But hey, I know what season that I'm in. I know exactly where I'm supposed to be right now, and I believe it, and I won't change. I won't budge. Yeah. But just I'm very low key. I don't have many friends. The friends that I do have, I cherish them, I protect them. Other than that, like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to add more to my plate.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very simple. And I feel like that's how our relationship with God should be like.
Yeah. Simplify it. Make it simple.
Very
it's not about
simple.
the followers, not about the likes. It's not about how many friends.
It's not a formula, bro. Like, like faith is not an equation. It really is not.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's just us trusting and obeying Him. It's that simple.
You have a relationship. You have a relationship with your kids.
Yep.
And that's how I'm understanding faith a little bit more. I spend all my time with my kids. I pour into them. They know my voice. If we're out in public, I've already prepared them, or hey, these are certain things that we do. If you need anything, they don't say. Sometimes they don't even say, "Can I have? I need this." I'm not like, "What you mean you need this?" Like, no, that's my child. Like, okay, you gonna provide for me. Make a way.
Yeah.
I want to go here. My kids are not entitled. I just feel like, hey, they know their father. They have a relationship with him. So he's gonna say something and gonna walk away from it. I'm hungry. I need to eat. Can I have something to eat? So for me, it's that interaction.
Yeah.
Faith is that interaction. It's that, hey, I'm coming to you as a child, as a father, and I'm trusting you. And the times that I've been with God, I've looked at him like that way. Not because I'm needing something in return, or it's just because I have a relationship with you. And even if I don't ask you for it and I put my eyes on it, be like, dang, like you heard that too, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the beauty of it. It's like, man, like I wasn't even thinking about it. I didn't share this with nobody. And all of a sudden, like, boom, this happened. Dang, you love me.
Yeah.
Like that right there is, I feel like we all try to fill those voids sometimes with other things. But he's there. Like, he wants that relationship with you where it's like, man, like, you hurt me.
Yeah.
And that feeling by itself is like a moment where you just break down and cry. And for me to see my kids, I know that I have a relationship with them, is when they come to me and they're just breaking down and crying. And for me, those are the moments, those are the periods of time where I don't want to miss. And whatever I got to do to embrace those moments, then I'm going to lean into it. So for me, like, that's a good feeling to know that.
Yeah, you ain't lying, dude.
That's a great feeling, man.
Well, my man, I appreciate you for kicking it with me. I'm going to let you get to your kids. Yo, what time do you put your kids down?
Bro, it's 7:55.
What time do they go down?
They go to bed like 8:30.
Okay, man. We're going to get you to your kids.
Yes, sir.
You're going to tuck them in and let them know, Daddy loves you. But on that note, dream the dreams that God has placed inside of you. Live the life that he has called you to. And love the way he loves you. Grace and peace.